Hello, everybody. My name is Mark, and I am obsessed with shrimp. Oftentimes, I find myself going to bed thinking about shrimp, waking up thinking about shrimp, and spending most of my day thinking about shrimp and things to try with keeping my shrimp. Whether it's making more shrimp or different ways to make better shrimp. All I think about is shrimp. A friend of mine a few days ago told me, you really need to do a tour video and show everything you got because you haven't done one for a long time. So I'm going to take him up on that and show you guys all my shrimp tanks. So let's get this shrimp journey started. All right, let's get started in what I call the shrimp room closet. It is a big closet that has 8 40-gallon breeders from literally the floor to the ceiling. And then we have 5 20-gallon longs on this side and 5 20-gallon longs on this side. So let's get started up here. This is my 40-gallon blue jelly tank. Look at all them shrimp. They're everywhere in here. And then this is the massive horde of orange Neos. Just look at that. That's pretty crazy. And then down below, we have the Blue Dreams. Lots of Blue Dreams. And then right over here, we've got yellow Golden Backs. These guys are a line I got about a year ago, and they've done really well. Really dig these yellows. I fed them earlier this morning, so they've got the food in the back. And then down below, this tank is a bit of a mess right now. This is my old greens that I've turned into like the mixed grade greens. So basically this tank is greens and whatever greens throw. It's kind of like a mixed grade green tank. And this is the same thing over here, but with Bloody Marys. Look at that. There's a really one that popped. There's another really one. Wow, these guys got some different things going on in here. But this is where all the extra Bloody Marys, the lesser Bloody Marys, and there's still some really good ones in here left from before. Pretty cool. And then down here on the floor, this is the mixed grade blues. Well, see, sometimes these are just as good as the regular ones. It's like, man, these shrimp are too good, but to be selling as cheap as I do. Mostly like the Blue Dreams, the high grade ones, they're guaranteed to be more pure. And then these guys are just left to go to their own devices. Still lots of really good blue shrimp. And this is my Skittles tank. So like we just went through the lesser grade ones. The other tanks that don't have, the other lines where I don't have a coal tank specifically for that line come into here. So we've got all kinds of different guys. Then when I did my shrimp farm stuff outside, some of my tanks were so full I didn't want to put any more shrimp in. So I actually just put like this is like my shrimp overflow. So there's still some really good ones in here. Nice little mixed bag. Cool shrimp in here. Crazy. It's interesting things in here. So now let's talk about the 20 longs. We'll start on this side here. These are my project tanks. This is a red project tank. These are the blues, dark blue project tank. Blue Dreams. And then down here, this is a project tank of where I'm making my own red Rillies. So there's a bunch in here. And then down here, this tank is kind of not... I guess I should have scraped the glass a little better, but if you look down here, this is the Project Bloody Marys. So these are the best Bloody Marys I can possibly breed. And then down here is, I'm getting ready to do something else with this tank. This tank is kind of just, there's some blue shrimp in here, but it's an algae mess, and I'm going to do something different with it. And then we have the same thing over here with the projects. Now, this tank here, if I can get the glare, where are you guys at? There's some. This is a Project Green Jade. And down below here, this tank is interesting. This is an experimental project tank where I took some of my blues started having reds on them, and I separated it out. There are ones with red on them, and letting them breed out. So not as many red ones with red on them as I would hope for, but it does look like most of them, or at least blue Rillies of some sort. So that's cool. It's just one of them things I'm doing because I love shrimp. Interesting. And this tank's not much to look at. It's just a bunch of blue jellies. Blue Jelly Project shrimp. And then down here, the Snowball Project shrimp. And then down here, it's another. This is the Orange Project down here on the floor. And you're not going to see much. I was hoping to get some of this glass scraped before I did this video, but I didn't. You can see. So that will be the last of the super ugly tanks, I do believe. So that's it for the closet. So let's go on to the next. So this is one of my newer racks I built this year. So let's start up here. We have a 40-gallon breeder. And these guys are super cool, super awesome. Red riding hood shrimp. Now, look at them. It looks like they have a red hood. They're like a red Rilly without the red on the tail. These guys are so sweet. I put some up on the website and they went super fast. My website is markshellyaquatics.com. I'll put a link in the description if you guys are interested. This is a nice looking tank that I set up this summer, I think. Yeah, this summer. And then one of my more recent obsessions here lately has been making my own red Reallys, which I did. I showed you the project one. Well, this one has a twist. We're trying to go a little, making red Reallys with not completely blue centers, but a touch of blue. And it's almost like pink, purple looking. Like if you look at them, you can see what I'm talking about there. So these are in the breeding out stage, getting ready to get cold, but I'm pretty happy. I'm amazed at how much progress this has made only a couple generations into it. And then below the top on the next level, we have 4 project tanks. Well, one of them is empty, but this is the Project Red Rutting Head tank. There's not a ton of shrimp in here right now. I culled them down to only a handful, but their numbers are bouncing back and looking good. This is the yellow goldenback project tank. They're breeding out. Now, I just reset this tank a couple days ago. I have new shrimp due to be delivered tomorrow. So, me getting those shrimp and acclimating those, that'll be the next video. And then we have the orange Really, another one of the lines I got last year. All the other lines I've had for at least 5.5, 6 years, some 7 years, 7.5 years, I would think. Lots of really good. This tank is starting to get going really good. There weren't too many buried ones in here just a little bit ago, and now there's like 15 buried ones. So that's awesome. And then down here on the floor, we have a 75-gallon. This tank has the guppy line I created. I call Rainbow Lightning. And then for fun, I put some reds and blue jellies outside of my pond. Not this last summer, the summer before. And then I scooped out all the ones I could. And so there's a handful of shrimp in here. Now the shrimp there's not a ton of shrimp in here because the guppies have their way eating the babies. But shrimp that are in here are pretty cool. And these are Wendtii crypts. So I think this is a bronze variety. This is the green variety. And this is the Florida Sunset, which is another reddish variety of Wendtii crypts. I love how these kind of crypts grow in a big tank. Treat them right, make them happy. They grow like crazy. So as far as tanks, this tank is like for my pleasure with the guppies and the crypts, but I enjoy it. I really enjoy it a lot. Alright, that's it for this rack. Now let's go to this rack. This is my newest rack I set up this fall to bring in shrimp from outside. So basically what it is, the project shrimp breed out, and then the best ones go outside, and then they breed out, and then at the end of the summer they all get sorted through and brought in. These are the greens. Oh, look at those greenies. This tank has a bit of a green water problem because there's too much sun getting in that window. This has a lesser green water problem to some extent, but not as bad as that top tank. Now, let's see the tank here. These are the Bloody Marys. I'm thrilled to death at these. These are so good. I like them so much. And then down here on the floor, we've got the snowballs. I still can't believe I have a 40-gallon snowball tank. But I do, and I love it. It's pretty awesome. These guys are so cool. Snowballs. And they are called snowballs because when the females are buried, their eggs look like snowballs now. Now these guys are breeding some, but I'm not seeing any buried ones right off. I know I just seen some right here. I'm making a video. I like them a lot. All right, and this is actually the first rack of tanks I ever set up. I guess when I was a kid in my bedroom, I had a 20-gallon with a 10-gallon below it, if you want to call that a rack. But this tank here, ooh, grow out crazy. Blue Jelly Project. This tank is really breeding out pretty good. This tank I just redid, and it's a special breeding project I talked about in my last video. And then these are like painted fire red, amazing reds. These are the same reds I've always had for years and years, but when I put all the ones outside this summer, I picked out about 150 or so of like top tier painted fire red ones. So I'm trying to get these guys to breed out a whole bunch. I already see some babies. So that's good. And then this one over here is another crazy special project. Let's see if we get a better view on the other side. Now these guys are pretty freaking cool. This is another line I'm making myself. And you see those in the lesser Bloody Mary, and there's a couple Reillys that popped up? Well, as weird as that was, they used to never pop up. But now that you let the cull tank go and the genetics get a little bit not as good, you start getting them more pop up. Well, I've been working on these guys for about 3 or 4 years now, refining the few random ones that popped up 4 years ago. And pretty cool. I really like them. And they're very unique. Then down below those 4 tanks, we have another 75-gallon. And this has got some moss that thinks it wants to float. And this is like the red Sakuras. These are like really good reds, but not quite fire red. Most of the females are fire red, but the males usually are not. With reds, it's always the case. Females are always way better than males, but the reds, it seems to be even more so. Like red males are super hard. So now we're down here on the floor, and this is another one of my Red Reilly. This is the Blue Jelly Red Reilly project. And this is still in its first iteration, so we're letting them breed out, then we're going to call them out. There's a bunch of shrimp in here, and I fed them this morning, but I think the big pleco guy in here moved it. But let's see. Got some good ones in here. Another for fun, see what happens. Trying to make something new. Alright, that's that for that rack. And this is, well, it's a mess now, but it's a guppy cull tank and a Florida Sunset Crypt Farm. I love these. This is my favorite crypt. Probably my favorite plant. My favorite aquatic plant. Alright, that's all the tanks at the back of the house. Now I gotta go up to the front of the house. So this will be the last time this tank gets seen on here. This tank is getting ready to come down. This is a 75-gallon tank with green jade shrimp in it. and a bunch of algae and a crypt. But this spot here is about to be a rack for my Caridina's. So this tank hasn't been useful in probably a year and a half, to be honest. So yeah, we're going to have some Caridina's here. And then this is the moss pond. So whenever I have excess moss in my tank, I bring it here, and this is where it's sold on my website. So now we're in the bedroom. We have 40 gallon, a 10 gallon, 40 gallon, another 40 gallon, and a 75 gallon. So let's start over here. This is a 40 gallon orange Riley. So I put the group of orange Rillies outside this year and brought in about 2,000. And then there's still like over 1,000 left out there. So I couldn't possibly put any more shrimp in here at that time. But they're already breeding out. They're doing super good in here. The glass, there's a little bit of algae growing on here. So it's not the best to make videos of right now, but these guys are awesome. So impressed with those. And then we have the Caridina Fancy Tiger tank. This tank is doing amazing. There's probably 60, 70 baby shrimp in here. Almost 30 adults. There's still some buried ones. So I got to set that rack up to set up tanks. So I can just divide these guys up into culls, breeders, and grow outs. To plant these guys. And then here is the culmination of just regular red Rillies. The red Rillies I've been trying to make myself. They're really starting to breed out. I mean, I know there's better red Rillies out there, but these are red Rillies I made myself, and that's pretty rewarding. Started with a red shrimp and a blue jelly shrimp, and now I have a 40 gallon tank with hundreds of red Rilly shrimp. Took a lot of time and work, but here we are. And down here is a blue jelly tank. These were the blue jellies that were outside and I brought in. They're starting to breed out really good. So lots and lots of the females are buried. So there's about to be a ton of shrimp. Look back on the back wall there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's little baby shrimp all over in there. And the last tank is a 75 gallon. Now this is my favorite shrimp tank, and I am starting to really dig the way this tank is looking. We got jungle val, we got moss, got a Florida sunset crypt, and look at the shrimp in here. It's so cool seeing neos like this with the colors mixed, and I've done all my experiments making the red Rillies, and so what this tank is actually like a cull tank for all my reds, all my blue jellies, and all the red Rilly projects. So usually when I'm in my project tanks, what I do is I'll breed out like 500-600 shrimp, keep like the best 20, 30, 40, and then all the rest of them will go into this tank as far as the red Rilly projects and stuff go. So you get lots of pretty cool things popping up in here, and you don't get wilds. Mixing neo colors without wilds, because they're all come from reds and blue jellies and reds and blue jellies mixing together. That's how they all originated. So keep those genetics similar, and we have good luck mixing different colors with these guys. I call these guys fire and ice mixed shrimp. So there you have it, all my tanks. I hope you guys enjoyed this tour and my shrimp obsession. Okay, guys, thank you guys for watching, and without you guys are the reason I can do this stuff. Without you guys, I would never ever be able to put the time and resources into doing all these things I'm doing. So because of you guys and your support, it's all possible. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I mean it. And with Thanksgiving coming up here in a few days here in the United States, I'd like to wish you guys all a happy Thanksgiving. I am thankful for you guys and all my shrimp. Thanks again. Bye.